am a publisher, and one day my daughter Christina asked me to write a novel with her. Well, that day was long ago, and that little girl is now an adult. But our novels live on. The Truth Seekers Mystery Series highlights a homeschool family, the Murphy teens, in an action-adventure novel that is sure to entertain as well as teach creation truths. To get your copy, visit our website at truthseekersmysteryseries.com.
This is a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network. Welcome to the Vintage Homeschool Mom Show. Your host, Felice Gerwitz, is an author, a publisher, and your radio show host. She will encourage, educate, and inspire you with answers to your most pressing questions, from homeschool, marriage, parenting, and much more. Felice loves to equip moms to live a Christian life because every moment counts. Be sure to visit her website at mediaangels.com. And here's your host, Felice Gerwitz.
Hi, Felice Gerwitz here with Vintage Homeschool Moms. Today we're going to talk about family loyalty, and this is an episode, once again, for kids. This is episode 409. If you want to catch some other episodes I did just for the kids, you can go to the show notes at vintagehomeschoolmoms.com. Look for today's episode, Family Loyalty, and you will find the links to other podcasts. Do you have family loyalty? Do you know what it means to be loyal? So in this episode, we're going to talk about your family, your parents, and those adults in charge of you. And we're also going to talk about what it means to be loyal. Once again, I wish we were in a room together so I could see your face and I could hear what you have to say. So if you need to stop this recording and think about what I have to say, you can do that or listen to it again at the end. First, I want to ask you, what do you think about being loyal? What does that mean? If you said it has to do with standing by someone or some idea or purpose, that's correct. We hear about loyalty when we think about the military, the men who fight for our country to keep us safe. They are loyal to us and to a cause. When people describe others who are loyal, they use a word that we don't hear very much, and that word is chivalry. When I think about chivalry, I think about knights and kings and queens and things like that. But chivalry is still around today. Chivalry means to protect, to be honest, to be kind, and to care, even for some, to the point of giving your life. But did you know being loyal applies to your parents and your family as well? So again, think about this word, loyalty. Are your parents loyal to you? Your parents put you first above people not in your family. They feed you, they make sure you have clothes to wear and a place to sleep. And for homeschoolers, you know your parents are your teachers. You listen to your teachers, whether it's a parent or a teacher outside of the home. So what happens when someone tells you to trust? Well, trust is typically earned. If you're a kid, maybe you have lost your parents' trust by making the wrong choices. But generally, people who are in authority should be trusted. Do you remember in your early grades when you studied about community helpers? These are people who have jobs within your community where you live. They serve in jobs that help, for example, law enforcement, or firefighters, or emergency personnel like ambulance drivers, EMTs, and paramedics. But teachers are also authority figures. There are many people that fall into this category. They pretty much get our trust because they're an authority figure. You really don't want to argue with the firefighter who's trying to rescue you from a burning building, right? You're not going to say, excuse me, I think I'm going to just hang out here a while. No, you're going to listen to that person and they're going to save you. Well, people who are in authority, like your parents, also want to protect you and take care of you. Some parents are great, some, well, not so much. Some kids in a family are great, others, well, not so much. There is no family that is perfect. We all make mistakes, and when we do, we should apologize and say that we're sorry. And I have to admit myself, I've written many apology notes to my kids during times when I messed up. Yes, even adults make mistakes, but we are still a family. We should have family loyalty. It's important. Maybe you yell at your siblings, but what happens if someone says something bad about them? You want to fight that person to defend your sister or your brother, or maybe even your mom or dad if someone says something bad or mean about them. We should be loyal to our family because we know our family cares about us, even if they do not always show us that they care. Who put your family together, do you know? You don't go to the store and say, okay, I'd like to shop for one family. Let's see, I'd like this mom, this dad, and this brother or sister. No, we don't get to do that. If you're a person of faith, you believe that God had a hand in putting your family together. Maybe you wish that God didn't give you the family you have because you think another family is better. Well, we don't get to always see that other family. We get to see them maybe if we go visit, but we don't always get to see them, and every family has its issues and problems. God gives us all free will. We're not puppets. We can make our own choices. If you listen to the last episode, you know that. Some people make good choices and others do not. So where does that leave us? Let's think. Why have family loyalty? Why is that really important? Some of you may think that's a really strange question that I keep talking about. Well, the reason is that the other day I was walking by the television and there was a superhero movie on. Well, I think it was a superhero movie. It was the X-Men. Are they superheroes? I don't really know. Anyway, at the end of the movie, I heard one of the characters say some words that I have heard before. I actually heard these words in several of my college classes. You may wonder what these words are. Well, it was a sentence, actually. There were several sentences, but the one I want to talk about is this one. And it started with this: forget everything your parents have taught you. What? I thought. Why would someone say that to you? Why would you forget everything your parents taught you? The first would be, did your parents teach you something that is bad? Well, if they did, I'd want to forget that. But most parents don't. Would your parents want to harm you? No, most parents don't. Would your parents teach you something that your teachers or other authority figures may not want you to know? I bet that's it. You're a kid, no matter how old you are. You will always be a kid to your parents. Your parents love you, they care about you, and they are loyal to you and expect your loyalty back. They want you to be loyal to the family and believe that they have taught you at home what is right and just. Parents teach you right from wrong. Parents teach you about faith. Parents teach you about values and morals. Basically, families teach you important things that they want you to learn. I've said this before, and I really think this is important. When someone says something that you find odd, you really need to think about it and talk to your parents about it. If someone tells you to forget everything your parents said, even if they are an authority figure, does that make you suspicious? When I heard a teacher say that to me, this is what I thought. The first was, why should I listen to you over my parents? The second was, I don't even know what you think or believe, and you don't even know what my parents believe. I also thought, I really need to respect you because you are an authority figure, but you're making me pretty suspicious here if you're telling me not to believe my parents. And the other thought was, I will not believe everything you say without thinking it through, because you know what? You're assuming that what my parents taught me was not good and that what you think is better. An authority figure that tells you to forget what your parents say, and they don't know if if your parents said anything that is wrong. They really have to have a reason why they said that, and a fancy word for this is saying they have an agenda. They think they know better than your parents. They want you to think the same as they do, and they do not want you to have an opinion that is different from theirs. Think about that. What would be the reason that someone would tell you not to believe your parents or forget what your parents taught you when they don't even know what your parents taught you? There was a movie some time back, and maybe you saw this, God's Not Dead. And in that movie, the professor wanted everyone to sign a piece of paper that said God was a myth and that belief in God was not true. Everyone in the class signed that paper except for one student. And that professor was very angry with him and tried all different ways to make him back down. That is why family loyalty is important, but also you need to know what you believe. If you're confused, ask your parents. Some kids believe what their parents say at home, but then when they leave the home, they don't anymore. That means they didn't really understand what they believed. Do you understand what you believe? If you have faith in God, do you understand why? Many teachers really do a good job and they care. But some teachers really don't care and don't want you to have an opinion and a view that's different than theirs. This happens to some adults at work as well. If people really care, they should understand that we're all different. And yes, some of us are going to disagree. And we should all be allowed to have our opinions. And other people should be allowed their opinions. But their opinions cannot be more important than yours. If someone decides something, they really shouldn't try to make you do it just because they think it's right and just, especially if it's a case of something that is not moral or right. So, why are we talking about family loyalty again? Because if we are loyal to our families, we put our families over our friends, and we're committed to each other. We enjoy the family God gave us. If you thank God for your family every single day, you will start appreciating them. We stand up for members of our family, especially when people say something bad about them. We stand with members of our family. That means we work together toward a common goal. We make a commitment to our family to do what is right and just, and we encourage our family members and not put them down because we want the best for our family just like they want the best for us. Remember, each one of you is amazing and important, and each one of you, I believe, was created in the image and likeness of God. God does not make junk. He made you and gave you the family you have, and we make the best of the situation within our family. Our families are practice for the families we will someday have, and we want to do the best we can to be the best member of our families. Thanks so much for joining me today. You can find the show notes for today's episode at vintagehomeschoolmoms.com. Look for episode 409, Family Loyalty. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Homeschool Mom Show. Visit Felice at MediaAngels.com and thevintagehomeschoolmoms.com. Vintage Homeschool Moms is a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network.